Good afternoon, Wrestling Inc. Get up, get going. Welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily. It's me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nicholas Thomas Hausman, joined here this Friday to break it down, the end of my 12-day odyssey. I haven't had a day off, an hour off in 12 days, but here it is. It comes to an end. Me and TK Trinidad. TK, welcome to the party. Welcome to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Thank you for having me. New look, new space. I'm just, thanks for having me. Amazed to be here.
My pleasure, TK. I am thrilled to have you here today. We have some funky news to talk about on the show today. And yes, TK, we were talking about on the show, I'm trying some stuff out here, new background, new microphone, that kind of thing. See, it already fell over. It's not working quite right yet. I have to set things correctly. There we go. Hopefully it stays there. Yeah, I got all my childhood championship wrestling belts behind me now. And I got my Power Glove. Do you know about the Power Glove? Did you have a Power Glove? The Power Glove is it was a Nintendo accessory. It's a glove you could wear and control games on the Nintendo, like Duck Hunter, original Mario. The Power Glove. It became infamous as part of, I believe it was the 1993 movie, The Wizard, starring a young Fred Savage. It's like Rain Man, but with children. And instead of going to a casino, they go to a video game competition. Anyway, love that movie. Love this. It was a gift from Liz. Anytime I have a chance to talk about the Power Glove, I do. And now that it's on screen, I've had my chance to rant about it. What a wonderful gift. TK, I'm very excited about this show today. Later on, for everybody listening in audio form, you're going to get to hear my conversation from WWE WrestleMania 38 Media Row with Imperium. The group, all three of them, before the breakup had happened, had a chance to chat with them. Obviously, it's been a big week for Imperium news with the potential Gunther moving up to the main roster. We might see Aichner and Barthel split up down in NXT. Maybe they go to main roster. We don't know. But it's a great conversation. I know you all love it. And if you're watching us in video form live, as many of you want to do, you can go check this and all the other interviews out over on our YouTube channel right now, Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. We are a stone's throw away from 100,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Please give us that subscribe. I think we get verified on YouTube at 100,000, so we're really excited about it. So come be a part of that party with us over there. And at the end of the show for everybody, we'll dive into the mailbag. We're going to look at Roman Reigns. He's a free man. He's free to dance with anybody, feud with anybody. Who do you want to see Roman Reigns feud with tonight? But of course, before we get to the news that we can use, I want to wish a happy congratulations to Corey Graves and Carmella. They got married yesterday. What a beautiful couple, and very happy for them. You want to say anything to Carmella and Corey Graves here today?
I mean, yes, congratulations to them. I feel like they kept it under wraps, or nobody did deep digging, or maybe they kind of hinted at on the show. I don't know what happened, but it's just kind of like, oh, you guys are married and it was all planned. So congratulations to them. I hope they include it in the show, because planning a wedding, I don't really know that part, but it seems like it's difficult. So I want to see the plans behind that. So more shows and network shows, more abundance to them.
Yeah, I'm happy for them. Good people getting married. Congratulations to Corey and Carmella. And we played the Corey Graves interview earlier this week, but since love is in the air, if you want to go check out my conversation with Corey Graves, go watch it. I have a small connection with Graves. I called his brother Sam Adonis's action at Warrior Wrestling. So it was nice to finally meet and chat with Corey after hearing so much about him from Sam. And of course, Jon Moxley was at that wedding, dressed in street clothes. And Renee looked very nice, but Moxley still wears fanny pack. Whatever.
Are we surprised at all?
No. Mox is being Mox. Let's get to it here. News you can use. News that'll leave a bruise. Of course, the chat room is open here at the moment. And Leo Yogara over on Facebook saying, bots scared of AEW. Sounds like the bots are not scared, because it sounds like bots are all on Tony Khan and AEW. Now, Tony put out the following tweets earlier today. He said an independent study has confirmed that much of the staunch anti-AEW online community aren't real individuals. It's a staff running thousands of accounts, an army of bots to signal boost them. Look closely. These aren't real people who'd pay for such a wildly expensive thing. Research this one yourselves. You internet detectives thrive in these situations. Speaking of wild things, you're not going to want to miss tonight's Rampage. He then went on to say their boiler room staff is going to be working overtime on a Friday. I love it. And finished by saying, ever wonder why so much of the activity on these accounts is retweets and replies? Like, who actually has 80% of their activity as straight up retweets? We reached out to Tony Khan shortly after this. I should say I reached out to Tony Khan shortly after this. I was like, Tony, I am getting bombarded with people saying, what is this independent study that Tony Khan is speaking about right now? So this is what Tony wrote back to me, and we have his permission to say it was from him and that it's on the site. So Tony said, waiting for final study, but here's what my expert confirmed. It's people with real live accounts making posts and then using their bots to manipulate the social channel algorithm by backing them up with engagement from a made-up Twitter identity. Social media teams will often fight on this. Bots are great for numbers, and when they're gone, you'll see a dip in digital conversation impressions. Both those were either negative sentiment or not real anyway. For example, I tweet Mega only eats rotten bananas. I throw, say, 18 bots behind it, which takes about 5 minutes. Twitter security can't differentiate when done well. Neither can most social teams. And the problem becomes for every time people type Mega into a search bar, because of a real account supported by bots, the first suggested result would be tweets about Mega eating rotten bananas. I'm oversimplifying, but that's the 5-cent version of what's happening. A lot of words there, TK.
Wow.
What do you take away from the accusation and the backup that Tony gave to his accusation here earlier on Twitter today?
Well, first off, I wanted to ask you if you told him that you know the original TK, but I don't think you did that. So we'll leave that one alone.
Sadly, at the time, it didn't feel like the appropriate time to question the TK-ness of TK. It just didn't. I'm sorry. I understand the emphasis to ask, but it didn't come up. Apologize.
I'm just saying. It's. I mean, with social media and where we are now, bots is a thing. It's just one of. I mean, you know, they're everywhere. He's acknowledged it. I don't think we can. I don't want to say I don't think we can fight it, but it's part of our where we are right now, as far as, you know, certain tweets, certain posts, stuff like that. I think it's on us to, one, decipher if we're going to put a lot of emphasis into it, and then two, you know, not get emotional about it. So it's a very wordy response back to your question. I think at the end of the day, I mean, if you were to compare the other TK to Vince McMahon, sure, he always circles back to the show. By the way, watch the show. So at the end of the day, it feels like almost every week that we come here, there's like he's done an interview or he's either tweeted something that we're covering. So he's the ultimate showman. Like, he wants people to watch the show for whatever pop-up thing that he might do or say or whatever. So kudos to him. Like, he's doing a good job. He's either getting people either angry, pissed off, or questioning things. So
yeah, that's true. And you know what? He did tie it all back in to, you know, tune in, watch Rampage, which has kind of been his MO when these things kind of come up. Seems to be able to tie them back into watch the product. And, you know, when Tony does this kind of stuff and he goes out and he says something that grabs it, makes them all whip their necks around, it's usually because he's trying to steer a conversation in a direction or stop a conversation from happening, right?
Yeah.
This had not yet really become a conversation. I don't really think too hard about this stuff. I don't really like to venture into social media that much because it is a lot of negativity. But I do trust that Tony does have people that are closely tracking these social metrics and can identify this sort of thing. I think there's definitely merit to it. What it does to change people's social behaviors or perceptions, I don't really know. But I think that you made a great point that I hadn't really thought about, which is that Tony made a lot of noise here today about something and managed to redirect it back to people watching his product. And you're right. That is a Barnum and Bailey-esque technique that has certainly played in his favor here today.
Whether you
Yeah.
love him or hate him, I mean, there's a product out there for us to watch.
Yeah, we see Forgotten MMA. TK knows how to plug. King Tito 74. Tony is right. Yeah. Let's see. Well, everybody see. Forgot. I do. There agree. There are bots. All right. Nude spams. Yeah. All right. Yes. And then Ty here just listed a bunch of social platforms. Wonderful. Great conversation to start the show here today. Well, a lot of people wondering why Alexa Bliss hasn't been on TV recently. PWInsider.com saying Alexa Bliss has not been on TV due to her impending wedding to Ryan Cabrera. The couple is slated to get married at a secret location in Palm Springs, California this weekend. It was noted that the guests attending the wedding will be informed of the location of the nuptials shortly before the ceremony takes place. Bliss was not in Dallas for Mania week, and this would maybe explain it as she was getting ready for her wedding. I don't really know. I'm planning a wedding right now. I don't need 2 weeks off before it to do the wedding, but maybe she's going right into the honeymoon. I'm not really sure,
I mean, are you planning the wedding or is your girlfriend planning the wedding?
My fiance is
Yes,
planning the wedding. I have to.
Right.
I'm having Zoom chats with my bachelor party friends to figure out what we're doing and where we're going. That is, you're correct. That's largely the extent. But even still, like, I don't know. I feel like, man, I don't know. And I don't want to speak for Liz. So I don't know. You're right. Maybe I'm a real dick for bringing this up. Maybe there's a double standard I hadn't thought about. Yeah.
I'm just saying, I know a lot of people who plan weddings and, it is even the days up to it. So you want to try to, as best as possible, alleviate any type of craziness. And especially if it's in a secret location, would that location change somehow if it gets leaked? There's so many things happening. So, and then on top of that too, maybe she's had the time off because, some wrestlers have these kind of not built-in vacations, but they take these breaks because they can. And well, WWE allows them to. So
I would lean that direction if it weren't for the fact they had done like 8 weeks of vignettes where she's in this therapy office that obviously seemed like they were building to something. And then based off of the reaction from the audience, even casual and hardcore seemed to be like, this is really dumb. I don't like whatever this is. I think I think there was definitely something to, or whatever ideas they had for her got changed to where she's at now. She's been pretty vocal on social media about like how she also wonders why she's not on TV right now. I don't think it's crazy to think that,
But if the idea is dumb and it's also coming closer to her wedding, then this would be the best. Like if it was an idea or it was preparing her for something big, then she wouldn't be able to take the time off. But if the idea is dumb and everybody agreed that the idea was dumb, this is the perfect time to take off. So when she does come back, it's something brand new. So
agreed.
And you never know. She might already be married for all we know.
Yeah, I doubt she's married. I think they're legally married on paper at the courthouse. Sure, possibly. And I totally understand them being so private and secure about this thing. Wrestling fans are nuts. You got the crazy Cabrera-ites out there. Who was it? We had Dwayne Anglo here saying, imagine Ryan Cabrera's hit True. That could be the wedding song. I'm just glad that you know a song by Ryan Cabrera. I don't think I can name one off the top of my head. I know he's a somebody, but well, True. That'll be the song, I guess. Well, somebody we do know that's back in the fold, Cody Rhodes. There was a report originally from PW Insider saying he was going to be at SmackDown tonight. Now they're saying he's not going to be at SmackDown tonight. Maybe a change of direction internally. This certainly is going to lead to our poll later where we talk about what's next for Roman Reigns. But I was pretty convinced that Cody was going to be at SmackDown tonight. And, look, him and Roman are the big fish at the moment. And either going to keep them apart a little bit, find a convincing way to do it, or you're going to get right to it. It didn't surprise me to hear he was going to be there. I don't know what to make of the fact he won't be there tonight. I don't know.
Well, sometimes when they say that the wrestler's not going to be there, they sometimes do a video stating whatever. So even if he might not be in the building, he might have a promo that's scheduled for us to see. So that's something that could be considered leading up to everything. So we have time. I feel like there's going to be a lead up to me, the best thing is to lead up to SummerSlam, something big. But we don't know what the game plan is. Like, if it is him and Roman, like, they have a little bit of time, and just because he's not going to show up doesn't mean that he's not going to show up via video.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so that
for
could be
sure.
something.
That's true. Maybe he sends Pharaoh. I keep waiting for Pharaoh to show up with a little note around his neck for whoever Cody's got next,
Yep. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible is correct when it comes to Vince McMahon, because he did return to action at WrestleMania at nearly the age of 80 years old. Fightful saying...
Awesome.
Okay, great. Fightful saying that many people within WWE were not keen on the idea of Vince wrestling at Mania. McMahon reportedly made the decision to wrestle at Mania a few months ago. Numerous people, close to the chairman and others on the WWE creative team, vocally expressed how they thought it was a terrible idea. Now, McMahon seemed to take the match, including the botched stunner, in stride, as it was noted that there were plenty of laughs had by the creative team and McMahon himself in the past few days since Mania. The line given was that McMahon recognized it was a terrible performance and terrible sell of the stunner for the most part, but he chalked it up to, as long as people are laughing and having fun and being entertained, that's okay. He laid out, for what it's worth, McMahon laid out the entire post-match angle, including Theory's music starting up before Austin came out. McMahon seemed visibly surprised to hear Theory's music, which caused some to speculate there was an error with the music being played before Austin's. However, the report noted that Vince was actually reacting to Theory's music as if it was Stone Cold, which caused many to laugh backstage. Anyway, I don't really care about the second part, but the first part, how Vince just laughed off this performance here. You popped. Did you love this, TK?
I mean, we only have, I think we had talked about this a couple weeks ago. Like, we only have maybe one more, or this could have been his last one. Like, it was one of those things where like, he's almost 80 years old. Like, the walk was very, like, you can tell that, even though he looked like he looked like he had some muscle mass on him, you could tell that he's been around the block. Like, the hips are tight, knees are, even when we looked at Steve Austin, he had the two knee braces on there. Sure. The fact that, kudos to him, the fact that he could still kind of sort of go. I mean, how many 80-year-olds can walk down the ramp, get into the ring, and then kind of sort of take...
I'm not upset with Vince's performance. I'm not even against the Vince Stone Cold stuff. If they had, the only issue I have is that Pat McAfee, who could be their hottest babyface at the moment on multiple levels, had to jump and bump around like a doofus, and then got beat.
Hilarious.
And then got beat by Vince. Like, that was stupid. That was very bad. MCASP here, thumbs down. I give that a thumbs down. But Forgotten MMA saying, I give him a pass. Look, he points out Vince is 76. The average male lifespan in the United States is 79 years old. And as a 37-year-old, and time seems to start picking up as you get older, I feel every year as they hit, I'm very, very impressed by Vince. I just hated the McAfee stuff. I just really hated the McAfee stuff, TK.
I mean, with McAfee, the thing is, it was stupid. So there's no disagreement in that. However, it's either go super campy and corny, or try to make you believe like this actually could happen. For him to go overboard, it's like, okay, we all know what it is. There's no way that Vince, like, in real life can, do this. So for him to flip over like a fit, like McAfee looked like, one of those fit when you catch a fish and you put it in, it kind of flips over to try to get back in the water. That's what it looked like. And it was hilarious because we all knew what it was. Like, sometimes you have to go over, and like, I mean, it was good. And this might be the last time that we see Vince in the ring. The last time.
If you liked it, you liked it. If you want funny haha in a wrestling match, I loved what Jackass did with Sami Zayn, and it made sense, right? Because Sami was fighting like 5 men who all had weapons. I mean, Johnny Knoxville literally stalking around with this taser over his head like he's a goddamn nightmare in an alley at night behind a college dorm or something like that. Yeah. And James Jones here saying, look, Pat McAfee deserves a wrestling contract. The crowd loves him. The Colts use him to always fire up on the offseason to train for wrestling. Look, yeah, I mean, I agree, but Pat's worth a lot of money now, and there's a lot of people that kind of rely on Pat McAfee. I don't want to say he's
Right.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson levels, but you're not going to see Pat regularly in a ring just for his health. When you see him, it'll be special, and I think that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Unless he forgoes that and says,
Hey,
I want to do what I want to do. I mean, you only live once, and if he has the opportunity to do it, and this is something that he's always wanted to do, I mean, everybody else is going to have to figure it out.
All right, last item here. This has been one that's been brought up multiple times in the comment section here today. I know a lot of people very interested in this one. This came from the Observer newsletter first and has since been discussed by pretty much every outlet. So the LA Park family, LA Park, we all loved LA Park, La Parka back at WCW. The LA Park family is reportedly done in MLW. There was heat on LA Park in MLW over something that happened in the past. Wasn't made clear, while at the same time, Park has a reputation that comes from being difficult to deal with. He's a legend, though, so they always were able to work something out with him. But that all changed, and now they're done with the company after an incident during WrestleMania weekend in Texas. The Park family was scheduled to do a post-match run-in at the MLW Intimidation Games taping on Thursday, March 31st to set up Jacob Fatu versus Park. But the Parks got very rough with Fatu, according to the report. MLW World Heavyweight Champion Alex Hammerstone was part of the run-in and was bleeding from the side of the head, and he and Park exchanged punches. The Intimidation Games main event saw Hammerstein retain over Fatu and Mads Kruger before the run-in, and it was noted by one source that Parks went off script, ruined the post-match angle, and went into business for themselves, delivering real strikes to Fatu and Hammerstone, including reckless chair shots, which busted open both Fatu and Hammerstone. Hammerstone and Fatu both needed medical attention after the incident, but were okay. Court Bauer, MLW's owner, fired all three family members, LA Park Jr., and El Hijo de LA Park. They were all sent home on Friday, April 1st, and this led to changes on the MLW Azteca Underground tapings on April 1st, where Fatu defeated Bestia 666 in the Azteca Apocalyptico main event instead of Park. It was noted that Hammerstone was yelling at Park when they returned to the backstage area, telling him to go right now, which I can visualize. Park reportedly acted as if he didn't understand English. I've seen stuff about how Park was trying to show the toughness of the family because it's been difficult for Latin wrestlers to break in the States or whatever. Regardless, inexcusable. The whole thing with wrestling is you're supposed to protect your opponent. If all of this is true, completely understandable the court let all of them go. I will say I do feel bad for the sons if their dad is telling them to do this. That's just bad parenting, and they're adults. They're going to eat the consequences here. But very unfortunate. Anytime I see a parent ask their child to do something so stupid and reckless. Anyway, TK, any thoughts on this one?
I mean, when you enter the ring, it's a trust factor, and
Totally.
It reminds me of, gosh, I don't even know how many years, Sexy Star. Like at the end, like it's one of those things that it was very deserving of what happened, and there's no you want to go in, have fun, you want people to enjoy everything, and then you want to go home safe, unless planned otherwise. So there's no words. It's deserving unless there's another statement as to the reason why, but there's never a reason why to injure another individual.
No. And Nelly Belly 420 here, by the way, the holidays upon us. UGG LA Park is like damn near 275, still being billed as a cruiserweight. Also saying, I think Conan had issues with LA Park in Mexico while he was booking AAA. I recall that as well. But yeah, dude, he's 275, right? And two other men, and you're like out there and you're Hammerstone and you're Fatu. Look, Fatu is Anawahi. I don't want to mess with him. Just what a mess. I wouldn't mess with Hammerstone either. Like stupid nonsense mess. And part of me honestly hopes it is a work. Part of me really hopes that this is some outside the box Carney gimmick. Like, let's create a story here to put heat on an LA Park Hammerstone match, because it's unfortunate to see a legacy like his kind of, fizzle here right at the end by doing something so stupid, idiotic.
Yeah.
You
if all parties acknowledge it and that was the game plan, great. But it's never fun. It's not even laughable. It's never fun to be in the ring and then like somebody literally punches you, and that's like, wait, that wasn't expected.
I've had that happen to me. I've had that happen to me in a ring where I had a guy, very big gentleman, former football player, choked me till my face turned blue and slapped me till I got a black eye. And I left the promotion after that. It was Billy Corgan's promotion at the time. And it was just a very dangerous work environment. And it is terrifying.
Did he apologize at least?
No, hell no. Hell no, TK. Goodness. I was beaten and tossed from the company. So it's very, I can tell you firsthand, it is terrifying, especially when you walk in there and you're like, okay, well, whatever. I've been hit. We all do wrestling hits. No, when these dudes like lay into you and like, what are you going to like? And then you're like, oh, well, there's fans here. I'm like, how am I supposed to react to this? It's very dumb. Very, very bad. Very dumb.
Well,
so
I'm glad you're okay.
Thanks, TK. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Got riled up there. Happens. It's fine. It's the Wrestling Nick Daily. We're having a good time. I want to thank TK for the time. I want to thank everybody for jumping into the comment section here today. And of course, I want to thank Imperium, WWE. Great talk. Thank you, Gunther, for addressing the name change. That was something I know a lot of fans wanted to hear him talk about, and we got the quotes there. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. So I have the mailbag here to wrap up the week at Wink Daily, WINC Daily. That's the account to follow if you want to vote in the daily polls. SmackDown's tonight. They're teasing Roman Reigns is going to pick a new direction for the Isle of Relevancy. Who do you want to see Roman Reigns feud with next? Cody Rhodes, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, or somebody else? I thought these were the three most protected guys coming out of Mania. Much closer than I was expecting. Over 300 votes here. 43.5 to Cody Rhodes, 33.7 to Drew McIntyre, 16% to Bobby Lashley, and only 6.9% to everybody else, including a great write-in from 6 Rings 9880. It's T-Bar's time now. All right. TK, who do you want to see Roman dance with first here?
Yeah, that's definitely the 1 and 2 is definitely like my picks, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Cody Rhodes, because he's kind of sort of fresh meat, fresh blood. We're going to see something different. I'm interested in that. And it's kind of like you don't want, I don't know, with Roman at WrestleMania, it's like I didn't want to see him lose, but there's going to come a point for him to lose. So that storyline has to make enough sense that it's like, all right, like you have to take that L. So I think Cody Rhodes is more, that's the angle. Like if the Roman is to drop, then it's to Cody Rhodes because there's a little bit of a history. Well, there's history. Now there's new history. I'm more for that.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Cody Roman has straight banger written all over it here. Daniel Price here, though, saying Drew's taking that Universal title. MCAST, Drew McIntyre is next. Then we have Leo here. Drew is next for Roman. And Forgotten MMA's Roman and Drew needs to be a hot story angle. Antonio Garcia kind of echoing on that. And I'm kind of more in the camp of Antonio here saying McIntyre obviously next. I don't know about obviously. But they want a Rhodes feud to simmer. And I tweeted something similar where, and especially if you look at this, right? 1 in 3 fans, even with all the Cody Rhodes mania going on right now, at least in our poll here, are on the hook to see a hot game Drew McIntyre, who's been kicking ass, taking names. He's looked very dominant here. Get one more bite of the apple with Roman Reigns. And I say, if the fans are there for it right now, I would go that direction. I don't need to see Roman win, but get me through Backlash, right? Get me through 1 or 2 pay-per-views. Yeah. I think that Cody, I think that somehow having the Universal and WWE titles split without Roman having to lose one of them. Would make it better for me. You could have Cody run to be part of a tournament over on Raw to crown the new WWE title holder. That keeps him busy. Drew and Roman can have some fun over on SmackDown. We saw that during the pandemic era when there was like nobody around. How does that play now? Great question.
Right.
And then you can, I don't know if it's SummerSlam or can you wait to Survivor Series? That's like, 5-6 months away, maybe even longer than that, like 7 months away. But man, that's the natural spot for a Cody Roman match to happen. If Cody can be a dominant WWE champion, Roman's got that Universal title. We could put them heads up in a match at Survivor Series where they have to do it. You got to come up with some screwy finish for the end. But I don't know that I want to get to Cody Roman right away. I mean, why spoil it? Sounds like Cody's gonna be around for a while. Like, let it breathe, let it build.
Well, but that's the thing. It doesn't seem like I agree with you. Let's definitely build something, but it seems like WWE sometimes has Alzheimer's. It's like, okay, this would make sense. Yes, in the grand scheme of things, long term, and it feels like okay, they might do something, and then knock on wood, somebody gets injured, and that changes the whole game. Or nobody gets injured, and they just pivot to something else. So, and then we never end up seeing that match, which I don't think will happen. But I'm kind of one of those things where it's like, if you guys are going to do it, I'd rather you do it now than me never seeing it, because your long-term memory has been kind of shaky the last couple of years. It's like you guys don't want to do long-term.
I like how you're like, give it to me now because I just don't straight up trust you to get me there later. So better do this now. That's it's reasonable, TK. All right, we're gonna wrap it up there for today, man. It's been a great week. 12 straight days of pro wrestling coverage for me. Looking forward to the next 72 hours of being able to turn my brain off, and I hope you all enjoy it too. And I hope you all have enjoyed the WrestleMania coverage this year. I'm including the week after Mania coverage we've done as part of Mania coverage because it all kind of flowed together. But it was really wonderful getting to see so many great fans and fellow media personalities and just get to interact with the talent and attend some awesome shows. And if you've never been to a WrestleMania, I really highly encourage you, maybe considering going next year to LA, get in early, get in a couple days early, get in on a Wednesday night, Thursday morning, take in so much to do. Collective, you're going to have WrestleCon, GC, or you're going to have MLW shows, and of course the WrestleMania stuff. So something for everybody. And if you can't be there in person, of course, Wrestling Inc., that's your spot to go for all of your coverage for not just Mania, but everything. We're going to come back on Monday. I'm going to be joined by Michael Weissman to start the week off. We are going to continue to roll out audio from WrestleMania week. And on Monday, we're going to get going with a very emotional FTR ROH Supercard media scrum. This was the first scrum I did think of the entire weekend. And like Dax Harwood, like pretty much damn near cried, breaking down, talking about how much the Briscoes match meant to him and just how genuinely at peace and happy he seems to be at this moment. So great bit of business done. I can't wait to bring it to you on Monday. Support the Daily on whatever podcast platform you like. Support Wrestling Inc. And of course, come back here tonight after SmackDown for the Wrestling Inc. podcast. TK, anything you want to put over here before we wrap up the show today?
Check out our interview with Savannah Evans. She just signed with Impact. She's been with Impact for a while, but she's now officially with Impact, so check that out. Other than that, you can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad.
Wonderful. I'm at Nick_Hausman over on Twitter. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you on Monday. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it.